AEW All In could be all done in London because WWE's latest attempt at counter-programming AEW could bring WrestleMania overseas. In the 40-year history of WrestleMania, WWE never even thought about bringing its biggest event to London because of the time differences, and London wasn't willing to pay them to come, and WWE would either have to air it super early in the States or would have to air it late in London. But now that AEW has successfully established All In as its biggest event, it's a perfect opportunity for WWE to fuck with them. Today, we're going to talk about WWE encroaching on London to spite AEW and why WrestleMania London will kill All In dead, forcing AEW to come up with a new WrestleMania. Subscribe in Swahili.
I'm really keen to get more events to London. I've been speaking to the great team at WWE and TKO, and we've begun the conversation about bringing WrestleMania to London for the first time.
WWE's plans to bring WrestleMania to London feel more real than ever, and AEW star Thunder Rosa was none too pleased with these developments. Quote, "I think it's very interesting. The timing that this is happening. It's so interesting. It's game on. Game is on, and they're doing everything business-wise to become a company that is bulletproof, and now they're targeting a market AEW is targeting. It's capitalism 101. End quote. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, mira. Capitalism 101. Last I checked, AEW ain't no communist wrestling company. I missed the part where Fidel Castro was your booker. Don't be fooled by the furry burgundy hat Tony Khan wore on his head. The fact that an underdog wrestling company can exist and even beat NXT in the Wednesday Night Wars at its peak means AEW is every bit the capitalist company that WWE is. In fact, AEW isn't taking this lying down. Well, they are and they aren't because they see the writing on the wall, and as soon as Tony Khan heard the words WrestleMania London, AEW packed its bags and took the first tumbleweed to Texas. That's right, All In 2025 will be in God bless Texas, in the city of Arlington, the same city where AEW can't even fill up half of a 2,500-seat rodeo. Even AEW press secretary, dick-riding Dave Meltzer, said there's nothing positive about their advances over the next month. And to celebrate their anemic ticket sales, not only is AEW moving All into Texas, they announced another stadium show in Australia, where they're about as popular down under as Bix on Bumble. What's happening here? Is Tony Khan having a midlife crisis? AEW's job as a wrestling company is to give the market what they want. Every market where they're selling tickets is screaming, "We don't want this shit." And AEW's plan is to scale up. Don't be surprised if one of these ambitious stadium shows turns into AEW's WrestleMania 7, where AEW Australia will have to scale down to the Silverdome. No, not that Silverdome. They'll get the 5,000-seat Silverdome in Launceston, Tasmania, Australia, and like it. Bruh, AEW better have the Wollongong Entertainment Center on standby, my guy. It's fitting AEW is moving All into Texas because, like an old Western, WWE took one look at London and said, "This town ain't big enough for the both of us." I'm calling it right now. WrestleMania 42 will be back in AT&T Stadium in Arlington. Just because this is a competition, right? This is a wrestling war, right? At some point, AEW is going to realize that WWE is their ops, and they're going to have to move accordingly, because after WWE saw an alleged 80,000 fans go to an AEW pay-per-view, they said, nope. This has been in the works for a while, by the way. Remember during last year's Money in the Bank when John Cena made a surprise appearance and promised London that they'd be getting a WrestleMania?
So I'm here to try to bring WrestleMania to London.
That was to put pressure on city officials to bid for a WrestleMania in London so WWE could pull up, bleed the market dry, and leave AEW with nothing. Coincidentally enough, the new mayor of London made it a point to pledge that he'd be bringing WrestleMania to the city. The mayor's name? Sadiq Khan. Because this isn't the wrestling business without a bunch of cons and con artists. WWE officials were just in London to meet with Mayor Khan, and I'm sorry, what's with this tiny-ass belt? This looks like Triple H is celebrating the guy who beat Hornswoggle for the Leprechaun title. Did WWE fly to London to celebrate the winner of the Gremlin Cup? This is the type of belt you win for being really good at hopscotch. But WWE meeting with London's new mayor should scare the hell out of AEW and the future of All In. Because if WrestleMania comes to London, All In which is already selling way less tickets than they did last year for their debut, doesn't stand a chance in that market. Vince McMahon may be gone, but the competitive spirit throughout WWE lives on. Fair or not, AEW can't play Wembley Stadium and expect WWE to sit back and take it. And to be honest, All In is just the tip of the iceberg. All In is AEW's WrestleMania in terms of fan attendance. But if you really were to ask yourself, what's AEW's WrestleMania from a sympathetic standpoint? Technically, it's Double or Nothing, because that was AEW's first event. Double or Nothing represents AEW's anniversary, and every year it's held in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, WrestleMania 41 will be held in Las Vegas. WWE, in a sense, is ruining not one, but two of AEW's WrestleManias. WWE is not treating AEW as its competition so much as it's treating them as its guinea pigs. Oh snap, y'all niggas doing a pay-per-view in Las Vegas? Bet. We'll do a WrestleMania in Las Vegas too. Oh shit, AEW drew 80,000 people to the same show where CM Punk punched his coworkers? Imagine what we could do with a happy CM Punk in London. Next thing you know, WWE is gonna do a Grand Slam special on Netflix in Arthur Ashe Stadium. These are the battles AEW is gonna have to fight against the big corporate giant. But as long as WWE knows how to tell great stories, they'll continue to win these battles. AEW can't cry foul now. When this wrestling war started, WWE and all its resources ran NXT against AEW and lost. Resources be damned, because AEW was the better product. Now that WWE is leveled up production-wise and AEW continues to obsess over professional wrestling, the tables have turned. If this was the same Vince McMahon product it was in the senile era, then WWE going to London would be seen as desperate and might not even work. But now that WWE finds itself in the middle of a boom period, there's no stopping them. And going to London for a WrestleMania just feels like showing off. Everything AEW does, WWE can do better. That's essentially WWE's philosophy these days, and it was always one of the big positives of WWE having to deal with competition. WWE, post-WCW, became complacent, and they did whatever they wanted, whether it appeased fans or not. But now that it has a Burger King to deal with, WWE's making its Big Macs with extra secret sauce in order to convince fans not to buy a Whopper. It's capitalism 101. Who knows, maybe Tony Khan can file this under his predatory business practices, but the harsh reality is, when a lesser company finds success with a novel concept, the big corporate giant is liable to steal it for its own gain, and there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it. It's the same thing that's happening with the NFL and the XFL. The NFL recently changed its whole kickoff to be identical to the XFL, and it's going to lead to less injuries, less touchbacks, and more return yards. Maybe that's how AEW should think of itself in a wrestling war that's been one-sided for years now. AEW is essentially the XFL of pro wrestling, the experimental brand. And when it tries something that works, get ready for WWE to steal that shit. At the end of the day, Tony Khan and AEW have no room to talk in terms of stolen ideas, because All In isn't even AEW's idea. It was Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks who came up with this concept in response to AARP know-it-all Dave Meltzer saying no independent wrestling show could sell over 10,000 tickets. As usual, Meltzer was wrong. All In sold out the Sears Center, and the rest was history. So the next time Tony Khan gets mad at WWE for scooping its heat, maybe he should sit his ass down and think about how ROH feels. Because not only did AEW kill ROH, Tony Khan did even more damage to the brand after guilt buying them. So I don't want to hear a damn thing from AEW about unfair business practices from a bigger company stealing their idea. Them's the breaks, and that's just capitalism. Check out this video and subscribe. Are you here for WrestleMania in London? Tell me in the comments!